the panel discussion session on the topic Scaling Innovation in FinTech and InsurTech, Growth through Collaboration and Digital Infrastructure. And I would like to invite CMA Nimish Agarwal, CEO, FinLabs India, Shri Rajiv Gupta, President, FB FinTech Limited, Shri NDSV Nageswara Rao, General Manager IT, State Bank of India. He will be moderating this session. Dr. Saurabh Maheshwari, Consultant InsurTech Person, and CMA Chaitanya Mohorir. He is the Treasurer, WIRC ICMAI. I would request them to please. CMA Nimish Agarwal. He leads FinLabs India and is responsible for providing strategic management and operational leadership to the organization. Apart from his other responsibilities, he is very closely involved in developing the product development, marketing, finance, and business development initiatives for the company. We welcome you, sir. Shri Rajiv Gupta, with over 34 years of leadership experience in the BFSI space, he has a proven record of building and scaling large businesses. As president, he oversees the new strategic initiatives, risk management, and advocacy across the PB in FinTech group, as well as identifying group's key policy and regulatory issues. We welcome you, sir. I would now introduce NDSV Nageswara Rao, sir. Sir is presently General Manager, State Bank Global IT Center, Mumbai. He has handled the agri-business planning in SBI Corporate Center, Mumbai, playing major. He has a key role in policy making and implementation in agri-banking related matters, project guide for management courses in IGNU SMU. We welcome you, sir. Dr. Saurabh Maheshwari, he is a graduate on Information Technology from Mahe, postgraduate in Information System from IIT Delhi, and doctorate from USA in Education Management. He is the co-founder Yoon Technologies, customized tech solution building company working with multiple MSMEs for their digital transformation. We welcome you, sir. We welcome all our dignitaries. So now I would request NDSV Nageshwara Rao, sir, to please moderate the session. So please start.
Good evening to all of you. First of all, my thanks to the ICAI for inviting all of us for this panel discussion. I know the difficulty in conducting the last session of the day because since morning you may be listening to many speakers and it will be very tough to continue the concentration, but still we will make it lively so that you can enjoy and at the same time learn some new points from the discussions. Before I start, I thank Mr. Vasudevan sir, Executive Director RBI, who has given a launching pad for this panel discussion. He has explained in detail about what is happening in the fintech sector and UPI, ULI, and then Jam Trinity, all those things he explained in detail, and how the cost and management accountants can come into the picture in various aspects of banking and insurance. I thank Vasudevan sir profusely for the great enlightenment and creating a big continue the discussion. So, as a banker for so many years, I have seen how the collaboration will improve the entire financial system. So here I have a very good panelist with me, Mr. Nimish Agarwal. Of course, introduction was already made by Indrani, but still I would like to say Mr. Nimish Agarwal is representing the FinTech, which is working on specialized financial solutions like wealth management and investment advisory. And Mr. Rajiv Gupta, even though right now he is in InsurTech, he is an all-rounder. He worked in banking, insurance, general life insurance, as well as other areas, fintechs. And then Dr. Saurabh Maheshwari, I can say he is a specialist in all, because he is in the teaching and he is in the guiding various players in the industry. That way, a very good panel is available. So we will be covering various aspects on the topic which is given to us: scaling innovation in FinTech and InsurTech, growth through collaboration and digital infrastructure. So before I start, I would like to say something. Many times, Mr. Chitranjan sir will be calling me as FinTech man. Don't worry, I will not be a competitor to you, because I am in finance for nearly 35 years, handling crop loans to corporate loans. And at the same time, I am in technology now, handling nearly 20% of the loan portfolio of the banking industry. So adding that finance, fin and technology tech, he fondly calls me as FinTech man. So that way I came into picture here. So before we start, I think this question I can ask Mr. Saurabh, Dr. Saurabh. As everyone will say, there is collaboration is must for all these banks, fintechs and insurtechs. So in a technology perspective, how these things will work together? Can you please give as an introductory part, you can explain, and then we will go into specific
Sure,
questions.
sir. So that's a great question. At the same time, great audience also since morning. See, collaboration is always important in all areas of industries and what do you say, inclusions in all areas. Reason being, when it comes to tech, today tech has been a part of almost every domain. When it comes to traditional banking and traditional insurance, which brings up something called reliability, trust from the market, the customer satisfactions, and the connect to the customer from last around the decades of their operations. And what tech can bring up is the customer satisfaction, the agility, the faster data processing, and all those things. So when these two things are clubbed up together, obviously a new ecosystems are emerging, which is leveraging more opportunities for professionals, and also making sure that the right customer services can be given to the customers in a very, what do you say, poised and one-on-one manner. When it comes to tech, I always believe like the time towards personalization. So as of now, what we are having is a static products. What Vasudevan sir has also said, Srinivasan sir has also said. So that was static market. Today we need to have a dynamic market wherein if you are only driving the vehicle for 5 days, you have to pay for 5 days only, why for 7 days? So that means it has to a dynamism in a level which leads to personalizations, and only technology can actually analyze this particular quantum of data in a fastest possible manner to leverage this personal services to the customer. And that is where the collaboration of finance and technology is actually building up the new business paradigm, sir.
Good to know your perspective. Mr. Nimish, you are a founder of a fintech, and you may be collaborating with, you have your own product and you may be collaborating with various banks, etc. So what is your experience in this collaboration aspect?
Yeah, very good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to ICMI and Dr. Nageswara on your question. So we started the FinTech in 2016, and we have had the opportunity of obviously leveraging on the digital public infrastructure, which is now which has evolved, right? Uh, in the process, obviously, right from the identity layer to UPI layer, and then collaborating with. So we are essentially well tech. Our solutions are utilized by bank, and when we collaborate with bank, we are typically supplier to bank for a technology solution which they will maybe integrate in their ecosystem for distribution of wealth products, third party products. More typically, if I were to zero in, it will be mutual funds. So mutual funds being one of the core products which banks would distribute for their clients. So we've seen that banks have been very receptive. Obviously, they're focused on their core solutions, and they are also very mindful of the fact, while obviously they realize what is core IP and what is IP to be outsourced or IP to be partnered with and utilized. And obviously that they know that's the advantage that you get when you utilize an IP which is already proven, time tested, and being delivered by somebody who is maybe specialized in doing so. So for example, a fintech. So they just like that we collaborated. So when we have collaborated with banks, our collaborations have been from that perspective.
So far your experience is good with all the banks. Okay. Now coming to Mr. Rajiv sir, as a initial remarks you can give, because nowadays I am listening that so much funding is coming into the insurance sector by way of FDI. So whether that will help us to get a better insurance coverage in the, because whatever I know is than 4% compared with the global status. So help us, and at the same time I may be asking a general question about insurance, how the InsurTechs are working.
Sure. Thank you so much. My name is Rajiv Gupta. I represent PB FinTech that runs Policy Bazaar and Pesa Bazaar, a digital insurance platform and a digital lending platform as both. To answer your question, I come from the era where I used to buy a policy from an agent, and I remember the policy being issued to me after 2 months or 2.5 months way back in 1989-90. From there to the journey of Policy Bazaar is indeed a big transformative. So InsurTech and FinTech has transformed the way industry is being looked at today. I mean, what has InsurTech and FinTech done? It has made innovation possible. It has made reach more easy, accessible with more innovative products and faster processing. So today you get policies issued in less than 5 minutes if it's a motor policy, and if it is some other policy, maybe 30 minutes to 2 hours. So that's the kind of speed at which the transformation has happened. Now, in the heart of this transformation, it's the collaboration between the startups like Policy Bazaar, which are today probably unicorns, traditional institutions like SBI, the life insurance companies like LIC and many others, the technology service providers who play a very, very crucial role. I think this collaboration has helped us to move forward and create what we have created. Your question on FDI is certainly coming in a big way. We're all waiting for the Insurance Amendment Act to happen. Post amendment, we are likely to see at least, in my opinion, 100 to 150 players coming into this country. And that is required because given the penetration levels we have in the country today, I think if that doesn't happen, reaching 150 crore people in this country and the dream of insurance for all will remain a dream, right? So that's the point, and I think that's good for a start.
Yes. Thank you so much. Now, as just now we heard from Mr. Vasudevan sir also about digital public infrastructure. It is playing a very large role nowadays in ensuring financial inclusion to the many of the far-flung areas and underserved and unserved customers. So, and this is being praised across the world that our DPI is one of the largest in the world and which is working well. So, Mr. Nimish, in your FinTech journey, how DPI is helping you?
Sure. So I think DPI has been, I would say, obviously when you start out to build a well-tech company or a tech solutions company, and I think the initial, when you build the entire journey of a customer, the first hindrance is when you onboard the customer, right? If you go back to a previous experience when I was working back in my corporate life around start of 2010 to 2012, 13, when the DPI had not evolved, we had built a significant amount of investment book, and we had built a very strong technology solution also around financial planning and profiling for a customer. But where did we face the maximum resistance? The maximum resistance or the maximum block that we face was in fact getting the customer data, onboarding a customer and getting the data. While the technology was there for, once you have the data, you had the technology to analyze it and present a solution. The ability to onboard that customer in a very smooth manner, paperless manner, that was not there. And that's something which DPI is used. Now, 10 years down the line, when we built a solution, we have been, fortunate, obviously, everyone who's built solutions around that, be it InsurTech, banking, FinTech, across sectors, we've been able to leverage the identity layer, whether it is Aadhaar based, CKYC based, We've been able to, use the UPI layer for typically bank account verification, payments, uh, SIP. I mean, if you look at mutual fund SIPs, for example, obviously standing instruction mandates used to work before, but there were a lot of cost around getting those implemented. Now with the UPI framework there, the NPCI framework there, implementing an e-NASH mandate is so easy and so streamlined. You can do it on the fly. Earlier it was again a manual process to get a SI implemented. So all this, whether it is the payments layer, whether it is the identity layer, the entire digital DPI definitely has helped our journey. Has Because whether it is mutual funds onboarding or onboarding for NPS as a solution, we've utilized that in a big way, and obviously stitch apps solutions which are very seamless. So onboarding definitely has become very seamless, and we see a lot of confidence also from, if you look at the adoption. The adoption is high because it is seamless, it is easy, and people have a lot of faith. That's why you see even the smallest of the vendors transacting using this using UPI, right? So that faith is also there in the robustness of the solution. That's why they are ready to now do digital transactions. So I think that's a big help for us, especially in our solution.
Good to know. And in fact, from the banking perspective, also I am seeing that results. But coming to the insurance, whether any major changes happened after this DPA in onboarding the customers?
Certainly, it's the digital infrastructure which has helped us to be what we are. I mean, we have a robust infrastructure today, a platform on which Policy Bazaar is run and Paisa Bazaar is run. Volumes of 20,000-30,000 a day, or number of calls coming each day, and that can only be managed if you have a robust infrastructure, because you can't analyze each calls on one-to-one basis. Today, calls are recorded. There is video KYC. At the end of the day, the summary of those calls are available to the supervisors to understand what exactly are the customer preferences. The AI, is helping us to come out with personalized, innovative products, keeping in mind customer preferences, customer choices. I mean, all this coupled together has helped us to be what we want to be, right? But is it over? Is it done? I guess long way to go. I mean, we all spoke about penetration levels of 4%. Health insurance penetrations are a lower single-digit number, right? Just to give you one example for everybody to observe, sorry, I'm taking a little more time, is India's very pride today is younger population, right? We all say that we are a country which has young population, but 10% of our population today are senior citizens. 2045, this number will be 35%. From just 15 crore people, you will have 70 crore people who are senior citizens by 2045. We're talking about Viksit Bharat. 65 to 70% of senior citizens don't have any income, no insurance. Imagine the social impact this will have on the country if today's 40-year-olds are not encouraged, to buy insurance or buy a pension plan to protect themselves in future. Joint family systems are eroding. There is no social security system. I guess all this can only happen through digital infrastructure, digital platforms.
Thank you for the views. Now, Dr. Saurabh, because we are talking about technology, DPI, all those things, whether we can say this is democratizing the financial services?
Sir, when it comes to digital payment systems and all, or UPI, just to make few figures first. Last financial year, India has crossed more than, or you can say close to 15,000 crore digital transactions. In October 2024, we have crossed 10 billion transaction itself. So acceptance of digital payments is grown to a next level. I think most of us sitting out here are the last generation who have actually seen the entire transformation happen from a paper-based banking to completely net banking and payment of around 5 rupees also in an online mode without having a single cash in our pocket. I recall my college days and all when my father used to send me money and I received it 7th day or 8th day. Now today it becomes like 7 seconds. I receive the entire money or all over the world. So, and when it comes to all e-commerce platform, whatever we are having today, I think if digital payment ecosystems and systems were not there, I think this could have been never possible. So I say on one side, this has actually revolutionized the entire payment methodologies we have been incorporating and ease out a lot of payment transactions all over the world, and primarily into rural areas and all, where maybe right time disbursement possibilities were not there. Now their family members working into major cities are sending digital payments in a seconds to them. So yes, it is actually democratizing, or you can say demonetizing the entire process. But that is one aspect for it. Another aspect for it is we need to understand that all these things are also creating a lot of problems, a lot of troublesome issues and all. And that is what Vasudevan sir has already highlighted, that cyber issues are about to come up. And I believe from the tech side that we are yet to face the biggest side of the problem. The problems have yet started. So that is one side is the opportunity, another side is challenges. And now we have to build up an ecosystem, or you can say some sort of compliances and awareness all around the country to make this particular thing in a balanced, so that the positive side should have a more weightage rather than negative side.
Good. In fact, this technology is enabling so many things which was not envisaged earlier. As he is telling, when it is taking 7 days for him to receive funds from his father. Now it is happening in 7 seconds. So that way it is helping a lot. But at the same time, we have to see whether cost wise, whether it is helping us, or whether the cost is going up, or how we can able to reduce the costs and get the maximum benefits. So Nimish, can you say how do you balance in respect of your innovations, whatever you are bringing in the financial services? How do you balance cost management with the need to innovate? Because innovation is important, at the same time cost management is also important.
See, I mean, two aspects to the question. If we look at from the perspective of a well-tech company or a technology company, of a fintech company, innovation, without innovation, we cannot survive. So innovation is extremely critical. Now, generally, how do we manage? Obviously, very simple rules. Like we already mentioned, we leverage what is available, what is proven. So leveraging digital public infrastructure is a must. Also leveraging ecosystem is again another aspect. So one is digital public infrastructure. The next comes is typically leverage the ecosystem which is available. So I'll give an example. Again, in a wealth technology aspect, if you're enabling mutual funds, now KYC, we know there is Aadhaar. But how do you enable transactions? How do you enable online transactions? So rather than building a whole transaction engine and integrating with maybe RTAs like CAMS and KFinTech, the easiest solution is leveraging on, say, a BSE Star Exchange platform or a National Stock Exchange platform. So these are ecosystem players who already are acting as aggregators. They're providing APIs. These are proven systems. So we've generally leveraged on the ecosystem APIs again, and this is applicable across products. So for example, from a single product platform, when we went to multi-product platform, we didn't go right from the scratch and started integrating with each player. We rather integrated with aggregators of different platforms who are providing those. For example, bonds. So when we brought bonds and along with mutual funds on our platform, we integrated with a player which was providing bonds as an aggregator. Again, was a proven player, provided us APIs and other things which were quite robust. So we went with them. So leveraging that becomes key. Obviously, in our sense, we try to balance teams. Whatever we can't do or we don't have skill set, we will collaborate. So again, when it comes to development, we'll collaborate with teams who have that skill set. So if you're using a AI-based solution or trying to use that, and if we don't have a domain expertise in that, then we'll collaborate with somebody who has already done some work around that. So that's another rule of the game that we follow. So I mean, these are some things that we obviously take into account when we balance between what you can do around innovation. But innovation definitely remains the key. But yeah, these are some of the rules that we
Okay, thank you. So it's a similar question to you also, Mr. Raju. With the automation of claim processing, I was told particularly in insurance sector claim processing, with the automation, the costs have reduced, and at the same time, customer experience also improved. So, how this could happen? Can you throw some light?
Yes, certainly. I think the whole, the system of fintech and insurtech relies on advanced technology, right? I mean, apart from doing business through technology, the operational expenses in, processing claims, the operation expenses in terms of understanding claims, is much, much faster using technology, right? And that has certainly brought down the operational costs, which were substantially high for the companies, right? All paper submissions, claim documents are all online uploaded,
Yes.
and as they upload with us, because our APIs are integrated with the insurance companies, they can see it immediately,
Mm.
you know and we ensure that we work on behalf of the customer till the claim is settled. So certainly, I think cost has been a major factor for our success. It will continue to remain a major factor, particularly when we go into tier 2, tier 3 cities, where affordability is going to be a big challenge.
Yes.
Okay? Today, why are people not going to tier 2, tier 3 cities? Because they believe cost of distribution is going to be extremely high, and plus I have to launch products which are more affordable, right? But through technology, this answer can be arrived at. So I think certainly cost will remain an advantage, and cost is going to help us go where we want to go.
Okay. Good to know. Uh, Dr. Saurabh, when these points of claim settlement and others are coming, and then so many other agreements, to what extent AI can help us, artificial intelligence?
Sir, one aspect is AI, but I'll rather speak on the entire digital transformation platform. See, there are two set of cost. I think you know it better than me, capex and opex. So when it comes to tech related part, obviously the initial capital expenditure will be much high to build up their entire ecosystems. But to my extent and the experience which I have in the tech market, I say that over a period of 3 to 5 years, that capex can be materialized, and thereafter you start getting operational advantages rather than cost. So tools like, or we say technologies like robotic process automation, detailed data analytics, some sort of AI inclusion into that can actually support you in analyzing, positioning, and positioning the company at the same time, putting the right cost in the right manner, and also helping you out in analyzing the customer in such a manner that their overall cost of acquisition to the customer will be much lesser than what exactly you are incurring and on the today's scenario. That is one part of it. Another part of it could be service part. So when it comes to robo advisors, when it comes to robo callers and all, lot of operational costs get materialized too fast, and this is actually giving real time benefit to the customers. As in, again, I'll quote the same example, sir. We again are the last generation. We have made a customer care call and always waited for somebody to respond. But today, when it comes to robocaller, robo advisors, and all, I think that problem is completely eliminated, and now we are getting real time response, and that too very personalized in a manner. And it's like, what do you say, wow factor comes up to the customer. So capex and opex from the cost side is one part of it, but I think the benefit which the customer is getting from the customer service side is immense, and we cannot actually evaluate them in cost, because sometimes satisfaction is more than the what cost you are incurring.
That is true. So when you are talking about AI, I remembered one thing. Many of my friends call me as AI man. It is not that artificial intelligence, because basically I started my career with agri banking, and now I am in information technology. So they take AI from agriculture and information technology, and they call me as AI man. Okay. So now coming back to the other important aspect, as all the three of you have told, strategic cost management ensures that we will continue to innovate and at the same time reduce the cost. But now one more important area is governance and risk management. So, Mr. Rajiv, you may be part of so many collaborations where governance and risk management has to be taken care of scale. So, what are your thoughts or your inputs on governance and risk management?
So I can tell you, when insurtechs and fintechs started their journey in this country, the regulators didn't know how to regulate, these entities. From there, to the journey of, transparency has been a big journey, right? I mean, as I told you earlier, it's a collaboration between insurers, technology service providers, agents, and the startups. At the end of the day, a clear agreement between all is extremely crucial. What are the terms and conditions? What role will the insurer play? What role will the bank play? What role will the distributor play? A fintech distributor or a insurtech distributor play? Already, if you know, building trust online has never been an easy journey, right? It's a very difficult journey for people to trust कि मैं कुछ online खरीद रहा हूँ because there are 1,000 people telling him that you don't know what will happen after you pay. You may not get your money back. From that journey to people gaining confidence, has been big, right? I mean, today, what is the concern of fintechs today? The biggest concern, biggest concern of fintechs today is the lack of trust, because so many fintechs have emerged over the last many years, who have probably fleeced the customer and walked out. So in any good industry, you also have these fly-by-night operators who come and break trust. And at the end of the day, the regulator also puts controls on the banks to stop funding to fintechs or stop, supporting insurtechs. Now, this challenge has been handled very efficiently by highest corporate governance standards, which means transparency around customers connecting with us. So from the time the customer connects with us, his calls are recorded. The discussion taking place on the other side is fully recorded. All these recordings are available to the customer at any point of time, to the insurer at any point of time, because we deal with multiple entities beyond just the insurer. There is a TPA who will do your health checkups prior to giving you the insurance policy. The insurance. So at the end, all this can only happen if there is very strong corporate governance on your side. And if you ask any unicorn when they started their journey, nobody wanted interventions. Nobody wanted blocks. So nobody thought corporate governance is as important as it should be. But given the way the regulators have acted, I don't want to take names here. Today, corporate governance has become the top priority for most companies. So growth alone will not take you where you want to be, but you have to bring the transparency. You have to convince the regulator that you're not doing anything to harm the customer, be it data privacy, be it the transparency in terms of how you share details, whether you honor your commitment, and what promise you make and how you deliver. So I think corporate governance is going to be the key for those companies who aspire to become unicorns today. And I would say that there is room for at least 10 policy bazaars in this country.
Trust is more important because without trust, the financial activity cannot happen. So, Mr. Nimish, what is your view on the shared objectives of partnerships between banks and fintechs? Maybe mainly addressing the potential risks, maybe cybersecurity or the compliance issues.
Okay. If you have to digitally transform and you have to bring such things under control, whether it is leveraging new technologies to monitor certain aspects, whether it is AI-based fraud detection or managing data, managing risk around data, they can leverage on fintechs. They can work with them more effectively, because in a typical traditional bank setup, you're focused on building your book, building the ALM book and other aspects of the bank, right? So we've seen that adoption. Obviously, banks are increasingly using AI or other the fintech firms which are deploying or leveraging new technologies with the objective that we can partner and we can bring in more transparency, more compliance. As Rajiv rightly mentioned, that this is a clearly business of trust, and the kind of brands the banks have, the faith the bank has, the banking system has. I think this partnership has evolved. So initially there was resistance, but we as well, though we don't work on the risk and compliance side in particular, we more on leveraging on scaling solutions. But obviously any scaled solution that we implement has to undergo all the risk and compliance related stress tests and the tests which are undertaken. So obviously that's equally important, and we've seen that in our experience, generally implementations, the general tech implementations will take 6 months. The security clearances and other aspects will take another 6 months around this. So it is typically the life cycle of any project that gets implemented with a large enterprise. So obviously that's the kind of importance that it has. So yeah.
Because over a period of time, even though fintech starts on a low scale with less compliance, but over a period of time, unless compliance is built in, the other players who are in the partnership may not get the right confidence. So that is more important. So it is proved so many times that any governance is more effective if it is proactive than reactive. So better service level agreements should be there to implement. That will help all the players to do in a better way. So having guiding so many other companies, etc. What is your experience, Dr. Saurabh? How you are helping them to leverage each other's experience?
So when it comes to tech-driven industry, we are by default aligned to multiple tech partners who are providing different services to us. Let it be a cloud service provider, let it be a network provider, maybe some sort of API provider, and multiple other platforms and tech service providers are there. So whenever it's kind of collaborative development, we are for sure relying on everybody else sustainability, and that all depends on what kind of service level agreements we are having. So SLAs are actually the cornerstones of the smooth collaborations and functioning, because ultimately, again, the customer has to be served in the best possible manner. So for customer, these services needs to be seamlessly available to them as and when required. So for 20, or can say 24/7 operations, SLAs plays a very cornerstone, and drafting SLAs, implementing SLAs, auditing SLAs, upgrading SLAs is something which I believe like CMAs, financial professionals like you and all are actually being more inclined towards. And with times to come up, I think these SLAs needs to be supported with right compliances as well, and which includes a few things which are, you can say, already implemented in a process of implementation with times to come. That is like Information Technology Act is there, DPDP is there, IRDA comes up with their own compliances and guidelines. Similarly, I believe in times to come, replicating the UK or UK European framework, we are about to have Artificial Intelligence Act as well. So building up a right strong SLAs, competent with the industry standards, and making them strongly implemented, I think that becomes the, you can say, backbone for making these services available to the customer. And with my experience, I say that drafting an SLA is not an easy task. You have to be very focused on making that entire ecosystems aligned together with a single focus being a focal point of customer to leverage the right services to them. So that's very important, and I think it's a continuous upgradation in the SLA which has to happen over a period of time.
Yes, yes. So better risk management practices as well as compliance, ensuring compliance will give us long-term success, and at the same time, as you told, customer experience. That is the most important, because whatever we do as part of BFSI, ultimately it is the customer centricity and customer experience which is more important. So in this aspect, I would like to ask Mr. Nimish, uh, as I told, customer experience is at the heart of financial innovation. So how you are handling that? Because you are handling a elite set of customers by way of wealth management, who will be expecting so many things, and reaching their standards will become very difficult. So how you are handling that?
Again, I think when we speak about customer experience, obviously relates to their journey. So journey starts when a customer experiences, the first step, which is onboarding. Like I already mentioned, I mean, onboarding has become so seamless from the earlier days where pen and paper. There's still a couple of products where it is not yet seamless. For example, PMS, AIF are still products where you still undergo a lot of physical paperwork, but that's going to change very soon as other products have also changed. So you will typically see across any asset class of products that an investor or a customer wants to invest, it will be seamless when it comes to onboarding. So that itself makes the first layer, or the first, I should say, hurdle out of the way, and smoothens the onboarding of the customer. Seamless onboarding is being one of the most important aspects. Second, obviously, what customer experiences is the availability or accessibility to the solution. So the entire omni-channel experience that is come into play. So earlier you had to go to a portal, log in to browser and get it. Now you can either be available on the web or through a mobile app. So so that's again an omni-channel experience that has come. So that's something that we've been able to provide as well. And I think there's a need of there, not just we. Anybody demands. I mean that you have to be omni-channel available. Most of the access to information is now being done through mobile. So that's equally critical. Uh,
So thank you. Thank you for all the panelists for the excellent insights. Before we wrap up the session, any questions from the audience?
All the fintech guys are here, so we are doing miracles via digitalization and everything, but at the same time when we go for the digitalization, the question comes for the frauds. So digital frauds or any other frauds, so what are the fintech companies that are taking efforts, or what they are planning, or what should they do for the upcoming frauds, or what are
It's not only tech companies, Mohir. I believe like cyber awareness, cyber security is the necessity of the hour, because we all are jumping, you can say, rather than moving, I say jumping into that particular digital arenas without knowing the intricacies out there, without knowing the challenges out there. So I think awareness about cyber issues, cyber fraud, cyber crime is very much important. At the same time, when it comes to the tech companies, what they are doing, I'll tell you from my side. See, there are two ways in which the fraud detection actually happens when it comes to data platform. One is rule-based learning and one is machine learning. So rule-based, we are now eliminating that, because it's practically impossible for us to write down the rules for almost all problem statements and come up with the, what do you say, the triggered or flagged transaction which are supposed to be suspicious transactions. So, and you can say we can write down 1,000 rules, but on the other side, when it comes to fraudulent, they are a two-step ahead from us. So rather than looking forward for rule-based solutions, I believe like machine learning solutions, which are actually finding out the patterns and going for predictive analytics and cognitive analytics, are actually making more sense to me.
So I think frauds, they are one step ahead of us. I guess innovations, in cyber crimes and frauds are going to be a big headache. One advice, there are people who are highly educated, there are people who are probably not educated, so they fall prey to such victims. It's important to be aware. I mean, these companies do a lot to create awareness as to who is genuine. I guess the only solution is, I think, more time will need to be spent on finding technology which can support cyber security.
With this, we will conclude. Thank you all. Thank you, the panelists, as well as the audience. And special thanks to ICAI for arranging this panel discussion on an important topic. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir, for such an interactive panel discussion and knowledgeable as well.
good evening. It is my privilege to express heartfelt vote of thanks as we conclude the insightful session, scaling innovation in FinTech and InsurTech, growth through collaboration and digital infrastructure. I would sincerely like to thank our distinguished speaker, Dr. Saurabh Maheshwari, Nimish Agarwal, Mr. Rajiv Gupta, and Nageswara Rao sir for sharing their knowledge and expertise. The way you have highlighted the role of collaboration and digital infrastructure in driving growth has been truly. We all walked away with valuable lessons that we can apply in our respective fields. A big thank you to Nageswara Rao sir as a moderator of this session. You really did good, sir. All the speakers, you given the chance for all the speakers. Thank you very much, sir. I'd like to thank the audience also for active participation and making this session interactive. Lastly, let us continue to explore and innovate together, embracing our opportunities that collaborate with technology offer. Thank you. Thank you very much.